always vessel. That will always vessel.
No.
Yes.
Yeah, it is. Thank you. I'm sure I have quite a few people who are here who are from my space, so
Yeah.
I guess they will all connect with whatever I'm saying. And I've seen a lot of my past lifetimes because I'm an Akashic record reader, and I don't know how many lifetimes of mine I have visited. But there are always one or two things for which you'll never get clarity. You know, you always have that blockage which never shows. So I knew from the time when I when I connected with you, my only question was like I want one question related to my health. The rest of it is for me. It's more experiential in terms of understanding this journey vis-a-vis my Akashic journey. Because for me, Akashic journey is like very easy. So it was all about trying to understand QHHT. So my first session was beautiful. Of course, no, we also had like, see, another thing I wanted to tell is people need to surrender, because the first session, I was very confident. Second, like, okay, I mean, I can do it very easily, and it can happen whatever I want, I will get. So it was more of me getting into the session instead of me saying the divine, okay, just show it to me. Whereas when I sit quietly, he will show me 101 things into my space. It keeps flowing. But that time when I wanted to go, because of my confidence or being in that space, brought in so much of confidence, it didn't happen. No, we had a hitch in the session. It didn't happen, and it was a very funny. The divine can teach you lessons in very funny way, because I put my headset, I talk, and all conversation happens. He takes me into a trance. Are you ready? And from the time I say ready, he cannot hear anything. It will break, because I had to get out of that mode and surrender to the divine and say, now you take over. That's how my second session happened. No, first session we actually called it off because it didn't happen. Then I said, for me, that also is one lesson. It happens to me very often. Then I completely gave up. I said, if it happens, when it happens, let us see. He will take care. The second session happened and it was very beautiful. My question was, I have sugar levels which are high, but it never bothers me. It doesn't give me any kind of trouble. No trouble at all. Like any normal diabetic person would say, I have absolutely no problem. But it was there. It was 200 plus all the time. Fasting. Post with food, I can manage, it will come. But uh, fasting, there was no way I could bring it down at all. It will always remain at 190, 180, 200 plus. So my first question was, why is my sugar level so high? What is bothering me? Of course, the thing is, in this present lifetime, psychosomatic illnesses, I could connect it to why I have it. At what point? I mean, I that way, like, so much of insight was there. I knew at what point, 10, 11 years back, I went through a down, and those emotions is what triggered it off. But why did that trigger come? My question is very specific because I used to this space. So my question was very specific. I had a beautiful connection and connection to my higher self. And it actually showed me a lifetime of mine, which I had glimpses when I did my Akashic space, Akashic reading on my own, in my meditation, whatever has come. But it gave me the whole story of one of my spiritual lifetime, where I manifested some emotion which was not necessary, knowing I was in a spiritual state, because I manifested that anger and frustration towards people, because of which the sugar that emotion was still sitting in my pancreas, and I needed to heal that. And then my higher self itself did the healing. And for the first time after that, of course, I also went on a diet plan. But after that, my sugars dropped down by 40 numbers after my fasting. That happened over the next 5 or 6 days when I did the test, and I could see, like, for the first time, seeing at 145 or 160 was like a surprise for me, because it's never happened in the last 10 years. Okay, but what I would say is I had a lot of learning in terms of my spiritual journey, or what is it that I did is wrong in that lifetime, and what is that emotions realization I need to bring into my this lifetime. Maybe it's also because of my awareness of Akashic space. So quickly that learning set into my space that I surrendered and I said, yes, I understand what is it that I need to work. And then I can see there is a very good shift
Gift.
in a certain aspect of my life. Yeah, the way I'm conducting. Though I am a person with my antenna and a complete awareness state, but those minute thing which was not on my surface, where I could connect with, that came to the surface, and I think that shift was beautiful. Yes,
And you and
so
and,
that
and
is
and
how
you
what I
said
see.
right after the session, you explained so beautifully, right?
Yeah,
How the body is
yeah,
not moving, how you see
yeah,
the
yeah,
lot of
yeah, yeah.
energies you had.
Actually, yes, you won't believe when you're in that state, trance state, because when I do Akashic reading, most of the time I'm sitting and
Yeah,
talking to the
that's different.
people.
Yeah,
I go into trance state, but I'm completely aware of my body movements or whatever. But that state, I couldn't move my hands or anything like that. I was in a space and the voice, the texture of the voice, when I came back and I
yeah,
heard replayed
yes,
the
yes.
this thing, I told Jitendra, I can't believe I was the one who was actually whispering some of those things, because I'm a very loud person. I'm not to speak soft. So that change and the beauty was I was shown, that lifetime, the connect, some of the details, the colors of the clothes that I was wearing, the smells. I could literally live through it. It was very nice. So for me, that story was very incomplete when I have done because I had, clips of that lifetime earlier in my own reading, and I knew there was something related to it, but I did not relate it to something to do with an
Yes.
emotion that I was holding. That is what came to the surface when I did it. But that journey was beautiful. I really liked it. And another thing I noticed is like after I came back, I could feel my body discomforts has shifted. I'm much comfortable sitting, or I have a spinal issue which is like healed quite a bit. But there was one particular thing that keeps bothering you. But even in that, the intensity has shifted. So whatever higher self healing did, I think my body shifted to that this thing. So that healing part is really beautiful.
And you got messages from mother also.
Yeah. Oh, okay. That was like, one day I remember Jitenji called me. I was on a picnic with my yoga. This thing, he called me and he said, there is a message for you. I'm doing a session and this divine being is actually talking about you. That was the first message he gave me that in QHHT space where my name came up, and he sent me that clip to tell that I am blessed with divine energies to be in the space. And then the next session in somebody else's session, Mother Dolores herself came and says, "Welcome, Vijay." I mean, I shared that with my group that and a lot of blessings from her end to go on this journey to heal people.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, so I mean, it was nice just to hear. We always have, of course, when I sit in my space connecting for my clients, I can connect to them, I get messages, but it is all that vibration that we get on what is the message.
Yeah,
Sometimes we hear, but getting them to speak so seamlessly, so beautifully, like, a normal person when we are in that state is very nice.
yeah. Thank you, thank
Feeling
you
very
so much.
blessed here.
Yeah.